Let's do Pasolini. Yeah, Willem Dafoe came on the show last week and was a very interesting guest. I know that you and I feel differently about this film. This is basically the end game of Pier Paolo Pasolini's life. He's completing work on Salo. He is making plans for Pornote Colossal, which we see seeds. It was going to be his next magnum opus, and of course never got made. There was a tape released of him talking about it some time later. And it's basically the end of Pasolini's life, interspersed with these dramatizations of unmade works. Willem Dafoe plays Pasolini himself. The film is directed by Abel Ferrara, who is clearly completely infatuated with Pasolini. In fact, many of the themes that the film addresses would apply equally to Pasolini as to Ferrara. There are all these nomic bon mot, narrative art is dead, we're in a period of mourning. To scandalise is a right, to be scandalised a pleasure. Refusal must be great, absolute, absurd. These are declarations by Pasolini that you can hear Ferrara enjoying. Ferrara, bear in mind, really made his name with The Driller Killer, which here in the UK was one of the most notorious of the video nasties. To date, his most celebrated film is Bad Lieutenant, which is kind of equally drenched in Catholicism as it is in kind of censor-baiting outrage. What I liked about the film, a number of things. Firstly, I liked the milieu of it. I loved the kind of 70s beige interiors and cruisy exteriors. I liked the look and the tactility of it. I thought that Willem Dafoe's performance was terrific, and I thought the mix of languages, speaking in English and Italian, worked really well. It didn't bother me at all that there were characters speaking in completely different languages. I thought Maria de Medeiros was terrific as Lara Betty, as a small role. I also thought Adriana Asti was really good as Pasolini's mother. I think the problem with the film, to some extent, is that if you don't know much about Salo, and if you don't know much about Pasolini and his significance in world cinema, and also to some extent in politics, then the film doesn't make an awfully great effort to fill you in with background detail. I suppose to some extent the argument would be that any film that is called Pasolini is automatically going to attract a cine-literate audience, an audience who are already kind of up to speed with this stuff. And certainly has, in the past, of course, I was interested in Salo. I was involved in the DVD release for Over Here. From a censorship point of view, it was a very interesting case, a film which absolutely pushed censorious boundaries and took a long time to get certificated, but had a serious purpose, along with also being in many ways an exploitation film. And what this does is it takes the very end of his life and the violent demise and mixes all that up with, as I said, recreations of work that he was working on, also with excerpts from Salo itself. It's a very loving portrait. For Ferrara, it's surprisingly restrained, particularly when you consider the subject matter. But it is a film for which absolutely a degree of prior knowledge is required. Otherwise, I think you might feel, as I think you did, why should I be that interested?